This video was sponsored by Austere, contemporary power products packed with premium features. Stay tuned to find out more. I'm Andrew Edwards, and you're watching Gear Live. I'm a videophile through and through, always looking for ways to get a better picture out of my television. Once 8K displays hit the market, I knew I had to pick one up, and I did that the moment the Samsung Q900R came out. I've been using it for several months now, and in this video, I bring you my thoughts on this 82 inches of 8K goodness. What's going on, Tech Squad? Andrew Edwards here, editor-in-chief of GearLive.com, and as I mentioned today, we are talking about that beast back there. That is the Samsung Q900R. It is an 82-inch 8K TV, which I know sounds ridiculous, but I'm gonna tell you all about it in this video. And spoiler alert, that's my favorite TV I've ever tested. Now, I know that's a bold claim, so strap in, buckle up, and let me walk you through why I think the Samsung Q900R is the best TV on the market today. So here it is. This is the Samsung Q900R. I first saw it back at CES 2019, and after spending just a few minutes with it, I knew this would be the next TV I'd purchase for my home theater. Now, first things first, while I opted for the 82-inch version of the Samsung Q900R, there are other sizes you can pick up if during the course of this review you determine that you want to take a look at these TVs for yourself. So links to everything will be down in the description below. But as far as sizes go, the Samsung Q900R starts at 55 inches for $2,500. There is a 65-inch version for $3,500. There is also a 75-inch model for $5,000. And if you want to pick up the 82-inch that I have back there, that is currently selling for $7,000, which, by the way, is $3,000 less than when I bought it a few months ago for $10,000. And then if you're a true baller, the true ballers out there can pick up the 98-inch version of the Samsung Q900R for a cool $70,000, which, unlike a few months ago when I bought mine, is $30,000 less than it used to be. It used to sell for $99,999.99, because you got to get in that extra 99 cents, of course. So as is what happens with TVs all the time, once they're released at a premium, and as time goes on, even just a few months later, prices do drop. But all that said, this lands this TV as one of the most expensive sets on the market, and that's to be expected when talking about new technology like 8K. If you're unsure of what 8K is, here's an oversimplified explanation. 8K tells us that the resolution of this TV is 7680 by 4320. Now that's just shy of 34 million pixels, making it 16 times the resolution of 1080p. In other words, you can fit 16 1080p panels into that 82-inch body, but it's also 4 times the resolution of a newer 4K TV. So if you split that TV into 4 quadrants, each one of those would be equal to a 4K display. The end result here is you get a clearer picture with more details when paired with 8K content. Of course, 8K content isn't really readily available, and because of that, it's hard to show it and hard to give an opinion on it, although the limited amounts of 8K that I've seen on this TV have been pretty mind-blowing. However, where this TV shines is in upscaling, and that's where the Samsung Q900R is gonna live or die, at least here in 2019 and 2020 as well. Now, one note on upscaling, because if you're like me, when you heard me say the word upscaling, you probably almost threw up in your mouth, though. You kept it in there, swallowed it back down. But upscaling has always been something that, at least to videophiles, has been pretty disgusting. If you're unfamiliar, that means taking content from one resolution and converting it to support a higher resolution. Usually, it makes content look like a mess. Even upscaling something like 1080p up to 4K looked bad. But thanks to modern technology like artificial intelligence, I can confidently say that the picture on the Samsung Q900R is the best I've ever seen, thanks to the AI-powered intelligent upscaling paired with the quantum processor 8K chip. Now, this TV has replaced my 77-inch LG G7 OLED display, and I haven't regretted that for 1 second. Looking at the build of this TV, you can see it's bold and stands strong. The design is pretty simple, while still giving you a nice, fairly minimal bezel. I keep it on the stand myself, but if you'd rather wall mount this TV, it does have a no gap wall mount that allows for it to sit flush against the wall. Now the stand that you see at the bottom of the TV actually magnetizes to the back. So even if you decide to wall mount it, you will always know where your TV stand is. It's always gonna be on the back of the TV if the TV is not resting on them. Now, I'm not one to wall mount TVs, but if you are, the one reason I'd actually be cool with it with the Q900R and a lot of other Samsung TVs as well is because Samsung uses a One Connect box. So instead of running multiple cables to the TV for all your different devices, you can run everything into this One Connect box. And then the box itself connects to the TV over one super thin cable. The One Connect box itself has 4 HDMI ports, optical, Ethernet, and more, with support for audio return channel if you're using a receiver. Once you get it up and running, you are in Samsung's Tizen Smart TV interface with support for apps like Netflix, YouTube, Hulu, Amazon Video, YouTube TV, and the list goes on. Being that it's a Samsung product, the Q900R also supports Samsung's SmartThings smart home platform. This means I can see the status of my fridge if it's left open right on the TV. I can get alerts about my Samsung washer and dryer to see when my clothes are done, and can even get info about my Samsung stove and dishwasher. I'm actually working on a video talking about how the whole Samsung ecosystem that I have here in my home, at least here in this area with the TV, the fridge, microwave, stove, dishwasher, and washer and dryer upstairs, all Samsung devices, all smart devices, and how they all work together with SmartThings with the Q900R as the hub. Now that video is coming soon. If you want to be sure not to miss it, hit that subscribe button right now so you'll stay up to date on all future videos. With SmartThings, I can press a button on the TV to turn off my lights and run automations. This allows me to control my TV from my phone too. The built-in voice assistant is Bixby, which works fine, but if you prefer using Amazon's Alexa or the Google Assistant, it supports that as well. Once you have that set up, you can use your voice assistant to do things like turn the TV off and on, change channels, change the volume, launch apps like Netflix, etc., and more. Samsung was also the first TV manufacturer to include the new Apple TV app as part of its smart TV interface. This app allows you to access iTunes content as well as any Apple TV channels you subscribe to, and the new Apple TV Plus service as well. The TV also supports AirPlay 2, allowing you to cast video and audio directly from an iPhone, iPad, or Mac. Now, one negative here is that since Samsung has its own SmartThings smart home platform and Bixby built in, unlike several other TV manufacturers, Samsung is not building in HomeKit support into their TVs. Moving on to the remote control, it is pretty simple but also smart. It can detect any device that you have plugged into the TV, and then it'll control it. So if you plug in, say, an Xbox One or an Apple TV, once you switch over to the input of that device, the Samsung remote will then control the Xbox One or the Apple TV. Now, next up, we are discussing the 8K picture quality, the quality that you can expect to get out of that panel. But before we do, I want to give a big shout out to this video's sponsor, Austere. If you haven't heard, Austere is a new home theater accessory company, and they specialize in design-focused products. Home appliances have taken a more visually appealing aesthetic, but our accessories are the same bulky, ugly afterthoughts, and Austere is here to change that. For example, take a look at the Austere 7 Series Power and Protect Surge Protector, available in 6 and 8 outlet models. The packaging itself is similar to what you get with a high-end smartphone, rather than the tough to open bubble plastic packaging that you're probably used to when buying a surge protector. The cool part here, and something I've never seen on any other surge protector, is it doesn't just include the surge protection, the MOV protection, and a high quality aluminum enclosure. It actually also has USB fast charging along the side, including a 45-watt USB power delivery port. This means you can charge up devices that support power delivery like smartphones, tablets, and even laptops without taking up one of the other outlets. And to top it off, all Austere products come with a lifetime guarantee. If interested in the 7 Series Power and Protect, I'll leave a link down in the description below. All right, now let's talk about that 8K panel and what you can expect from it as far as picture quality. Right off the bat, let me reiterate, here at the end of 2019, and I assume for the next year, maybe even 2 years, 8K content is pretty much non-existent. It is very hard to find. So the Q900R needs to make watching the content that you have now look even better than what you see on other TV sets. Otherwise, there's no reason to buy it. You're gonna primarily be watching 1080p and 4K content, and it needs to shine on the Q900R. Thankfully, it absolutely does, and Samsung nailed it. Those extra pixels are put to work by the new 8K AI upscaler, making your HD and 4K content look sharper, more detailed, and more dense with an overall feeling of depth. It does this even better than the best 4K TVs on the market today. Jagged edges around arcs and curves are eliminated, and the fact that all this happens in real time is incredible. There's no MPEG noise, motion lag, unwanted grittiness in the picture. Double edging is gone. All the negatives you'd expect from old school upscaling just simply aren't there. When comparing the picture on the Q900R versus a 4K Q8, the Q900R is superior even when comparing 4K ultra high definition content that's being upscaled. There's more detail in 8K natively, but even the 4K looks better. When you pack 4 times the pixels in the same space as a 4K TV would, you end up getting the retina display effect that Apple touts on all of its displays. It's the same level of detail, but smoother and crisper detail, if you will. Quite a lot of the effect is likely due to Samsung's excellent processing and upscaling, but the pixel density, of course, sure doesn't hurt either. Samsung's also done a great job on a Q900R with the full array backlighting. There is some very, very mild blooming, which is unintended halos around bright objects on dark backgrounds. You'll see that here and there, but it's only really noticeable under the most extreme of conditions, something like a neon sign in the foreground and a dark sky in the background. And even then, like I said, it's minimal. The Q900R isn't an OLED when it comes to the black levels, but you'd be hard pressed to tell the difference unless you had an OLED TV side by side with Samsung's 8K beast. So ultimately, when it comes to the Samsung Q900R, the question is, why would someone buy this TV? Why would you spend so much money on an 8K TV when there's not a lot of 8K content to enjoy? And I think I have the answer. Number one, it future-proofs you in terms of resolution. And number two, it's the best LED LCD TV I've ever tested or ever seen. And that's despite the minor issues that I mentioned. When it comes to rendering highlights and details, no one can touch Samsung right now, especially on the Q900R. And that's why this is my pick for the best overall TV on the market today. Like I said, if you want to pick one up, either in 82 inches or in a smaller model or the bigger 98-inch one, if you're a baller, again, links will be down in the description below. Now I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about the Samsung Q900R? Were you familiar with it? Did you know 8K TVs were a thing now and on the market? Have you picked one up? Have you even moved to 4K yet? Leave a comment down in the description below, and I'll meet you there for further discussion about TVs. Again, big shout out to Austere for sponsoring this video. If you want high quality home theater products, be sure to check out Austere. I will leave a link to them in the description as well. For even more on this TV, we will be discussing it on the Geared Up podcast. If you're unaware, Geared Up is a podcast that I do with John Rettinger from the Techno Buffalo channel, where each week we talk about the latest in gadgets and gear. Search for Geared Up, 2 words, not one, in your favorite podcast app, or subscribe to the Geared Up YouTube channel, which will appear here in a card at the bottom, I think over here somewhere in this video. Thanks so much again, guys, for watching. As always, I appreciate your support. I'm Andrew Edwards, and I'll catch you in the next video.